Hello, my sweethearts. We are going to wait for just a hot, quick second here because we are going to wait for some other individuals to come on board. No, let's get rid of that one. But this is going to be very exciting, so let's just wait and see who shows up. Hello, my sweetheart. Hi. Welcome. We are discussing the system tonight. Hello. Right, we're just going to wait a couple more minutes. I know I started a little bit late, but we're just going to wait a couple of minutes, get everybody here, get everybody there. Hello, Beatka, my love. Thank you ever so much for joining us. Hello, everybody. Come on in, come on in. So, we are going to, I'm just going to get this, all of these bits set. Hello, Monique, sweetheart. Hello. We are back here. We are here again. And we're going to have a great discussion today. So we're just going to wait a couple minutes. We're just going to get everybody in. And we're going to see where we can go and where we can start. Okay. So, hi, Abdu. Hello, my sweetheart. Now, I've hurt my leg because I've continually sit on it. But screw it. I like sitting on things, so I'm going to sit on my leg anyway. All right. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're just going to wait another hot second. Get everybody in here before we start because this one's going to be an important one. Hello, Orke, sweetheart. Hello, Chelsea. Hi, sweetie. Right. So let's get cracking basically because you know I'm never anyone. Hi, Dennis, sweetheart. I'm never anyone to literally not do anything. Lauren, hi there. You're awesome. My cousin Valerio is watching and he is so inspired by you. Oh, well, Lauren and Valerio, thank you so much. I'm very, very pleased. I'm very, very excited that you enjoy this, and I hope many more do. And hopefully we'll learn something really good tonight. Now, this is, of course, going to be a live. Hi, Yvette, sweetheart. Hi, Jen. Oh, yes, good morning, Jen. Oh, bless you. You are up early. Hi, Onala, sweetie. Hi, everybody. So, this video is, or this session from today. Hi, Gina. Hello, my sweetheart. I am also from Canada. Excellent. This video today, this session, this discussion is all about the system. Okay? The system. What is it? How do we recognize it? How do you know that you are participating in it? And what does that actually mean for you? Okay? Because this is something that is really, really, really important. And it's going to definitely affect you as you raise frequency and as you are going through your evolutionary period. Now, why does it affect you so much? Well, it simply affects you because the system is a controlled environment. Rootless, hello, my sweetheart. The system is a controlled environment. It is an environment that inflicts governance from another individual upon yourself. What is governance? Governance is servitude. What is servitude? It is slavery. That is what the system is. However, so many individuals cannot even recognize the system for what it is. Monique, you say the matrix. Bang on, my sweetheart. Bang on. Well, we are in the matrix. Of course, sorry. We experience life within this matrix. It's not like Neo, where we get to wake up and we have a physical body on the outside of anywhere. It's not like that. We are born into this matrix, and we are literally... Hello, Omeda! We are born into this matrix, and we live inside it. But it's up to us to make it a pleasurable experience, because we have two options. Hello, Tessa, sweetheart. We have two options. Option number one is that we live in servitude and governance because somebody else wants to govern us. And option two is that you live freely to experience whatever and whenever or whatever you want to experience, you experience. Right? So those are your two options. There is no third option. You either are in servitude or you are free. Because there cannot be servitude in freedom. Right? And this is what we all need to kind of aim for, is to everybody to gain this freedom within ourselves, because nobody likes the system. Especially when you understand it and when you know what it is, nobody frickin' likes the system. because there is not one individual who is a source fractal, who has a higher consciousness. Not one of you likes or enjoys servitude. Okay, so in this, again, in this live today, in this discussion, we're going to go through all of that. Now, if you find that you are resonating with this message and you're just like, you know what, I need to share this because I'm feeling everything she's saying, but she's just saying it in a way that is really understandable, then please share it. Return the energy and share this information today so that we can help more people understand what the system is and how, or the steps that they can take to start exiting it, to find their freedom, and to not live in this blasted servitude. Okay, so please comment, right? Again, as you are listening to me and as you are hearing what I'm saying, and if you have further comments, if you have further, experiences that you want to put down or anything like that, please post them. And let's all learn a little bit more. So firstly, let's go with what it is, right? And, Monique, I'm going to actually quote a line from the Matrix movies by Morpheus. Hi, Kira, sweetie. Morpheus said, "The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now in this very room, you can see it when you look out of your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth." Now, that is, of course, a quote from the Matrix movie and Morpheus while he was there. But that statement resonates so very true. So very true. So this is the way I'm going to explain the system to you today. Okay? The Matrix is everywhere. Right? Like we said, it is all around. It is literally the makeup of this entire physical dimension. This earthly level 1 dimension is the Matrix. Right? Anything that is within the physical is the Matrix. It is just what it is. However, the Matrix is a playing field. So if you remember, there was a movie called The Craft, and it was being explained as to what god they were trying to summon energy from. Again, this is the movie, The Craft, 4 teenage girls who are witches and everything who tap into energy. And the way they explained it was like, oh, if Zagkul, or whatever the name of the god was, if he was on a play, like Zagkul would be the playing field. And if God and Satan were having a game, a football game, you'd have God and then you'd have Satan. And the higher energy is, of course, the football field. Well, this is it. The Matrix is the football field. You are your source fractal, yourself. You call yourself God, right? Call yourself God. Sorry about that. And then you have your opponent, Satan, if you want. The other half, the system. The system is your opponent. So you are playing a game within the Matrix, right? Playing a game within the Matrix. And you have an opponent and you're on one side. Hello, Emma. Hello, Consuela, my sweetheart. Welcome. So, I'm sorry. Shayla is sitting here scratching, so she is literally shaking the camera a little bit. So anywho, you're playing this game. Now, what is the system when I'm saying this? Now, you're going to hear me talk a lot about the government. The government is a form of the system. Why is the government part of the system? Well, the government asks for servitude. You are so involved in it, whether you want to be or not. You are so programmed to be within it that you believe it is right. So, oh, hi, Lindsay. Sorry, hi, Dave. Hi, for Lindsay and Dave. Hi, Dave, sweetheart. Welcome. So, I want you guys to join in here with me, all right? And tell me how you recognize the system in itself. So the government is one form of it. Now, the government tells you who they are. All right? Okay, so let's look at it this way. The government is a collection of the people, correct? Right? The government is there for the people. For the people. Yet the government, everything the government does, keeps you in servitude. In utter servitude. Sorry, one moment. There we go. Keeps you in servitude. Now, how does it keep you in servitude? Well, you get trained by your children, grow up in government schools, the majority of them. And if they are not in a government school, they are in a government curriculum. Okay? So when you look at a school, you are looking at the system. Right? Monique, you say, we are assigned a number as soon as we are born and registered. Exactly. Monique, perfect point there. As soon as you are born, you are given a birth certificate, or you have to be registered. And you're totally put in there like that, right? When you are registered, you are being told that you are now the property of this country. That's why they want you to register a birth, right? They want to keep track of you, because the same way that when a cattle, when like literally a herd of cattle, if you've got a cattle farmer, if a new cow is born, what do? They tag the new cow, because they want to know about every new addition to the herd, so that they know how much profit they are going to have. Right? So, Monique, just as Monique said, you have a birth certificate. Now you are a part of the system. You are a part of the cattle herd, basically. Monique, and we must fight if we are forced to. See, here's the thing though, Monique. When you exit the system, when you stop complying to the system, there's no more fight. You don't have to fight to do anything. You simply live freely in your existence. But we're going to get onto that in a little bit. So anywho, so as Monique just said though, first part of the system is you are born and you register for a birth certificate. Right? Your parents take you into an institution to say, hey, I have a child. They are declaring you to the state. Right? They are declaring you. So you're going to get the type. So how do you fight the system, Orke? You say, don't worry. We're gonna recognize the system for what it is first. Sorry about that, you guys. So we're gonna recognize the system for what it is first, and then we're gonna tell you how to fight it. Emma, you have wisdom like me. The government have knowledge. Oh, the government has a lot of knowledge. The government knows that we are playing a game. They know it. And they're keeping you in it. But keeping you surrounded on all sides in enemy territory. And we need to relinquish and gain our own territory back. Sorry, Dennis, you say, we did not get rid of slavery. We just made everybody slaves and part of corporate America, or in your case, the crown. Yes. Emma, only love can bring peace. Absolutely true. Dennis, you're absolutely right. Before, slavery was kind of, you catch somebody and you put them in servitude. Well, no, now everybody is a mandatory slave. Well, we all were, to be honest with you. We all were in every way. Emma, I'm a medium like you. Bless you. To be honest with you, I am not surprised at that. I'm sure you are far more than just a medium as well, my dear. Far more than just a medium. But we can go into that in another day. Now, going back onto the system though. So firstly, when you are born, you are given a number and a piece of paper to declare you. Just the same way a baby cow is tagged on their ear, right? Now you can be tracked. Then you are put into schools, okay? You are put into schools. Now you can say that you are in a private school or a public school. It does not matter one iota, because you are still being governed as to what it is you should learn. Now, again, let's look at what you are learning in school. How is this a part of the system? When we think we are born and we're supposed to live, right? How do we live? We live by sustaining ourselves. We live by making great choices. We live by having happiness and love and experiencing great things in our life. Because what is the meaning of life if you do not have happiness? The school systems do not teach you how to be happy. So the education you are gaining when you are in this institution is not one that furthers the happiness and the development and the progression of your soul and yourself to have you understand who you are to lead the best life possible. No, not at all. Because that would be freedom. Right? What the school system does, the system, that's why it's the school system, what it does is it teaches you how to literally be a slave. They don't care. Think about it. And this is what one of my daughter came to me and she said, I don't like algebra. I don't like algebra. And I asked her, I'm like, okay, well, you know what you should do is you should tell your teacher that. And she's like, no, I can't do that. And I asked her, I'm like, you know what, go to your teacher and ask your teacher, when have you ever used algebra outside of this classroom teaching it? You yourself, personally. When were you at the grocery store using algebra? When were you filling in your taxes? Were you using algebra? When were you in general conversation? Were you using algebra? And I can guarantee you, your teacher, or as I was saying, her teacher, would not be able to say anything besides, only in this classroom do I teach algebra, do I use it. It's useless. Sorry, I'm not saying algebra is useless. People who are mathematicians who need algebra to develop something cool, those are the people who need algebra. But the general population, we don't use it. The education that we receive is primarily useless. But again, what is it that we do gain from school? Well, we learn how to listen. We learn how to listen. We learn how to repeat and regurgitate information that's given to us. We are taught not to question our teachers or authority. All right? Just think, you are punished if you come in. If you come into class late, you are punished. If you talk back to the teacher, you are punished. If you do not follow the rules, you are punished. Right? None of this, though, has anything to do with the development of your soul and your education, like you really as yourself. All it has to do is when you are taught to follow rules, you are taught to follow orders. I'm really sorry, my kids are taking out the garbage because it's the recycling bins and they're really loud. So I'm sorry about that. So shush, 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 children. Alright, sorry, let's go there. Monique, they do not teach empathy in schools. They don't. Empathy is one thing, is that if all children were taught about their empathic abilities, right? If they were taught to understand their emotions, to understand their energy, what would we have? We wouldn't have people following orders. We would have people following their heart. Because they would follow what feels good. They would understand the pain and the suffering of their brethren. And they would seek to stop that pain and suffering. But now you're not taught that. Because they don't care that you're in pain or that you're suffering. All they care is whether you are taking orders and following them. You know? So, again, all your life during school, that's all you're doing. Is you're being told information, right? Which is, I'm telling you, me as being the headmaster, I'm telling you what you should learn, I'm telling you that this is right, right? I'm telling you that this is right, and you can't tell me anything else. So as a child, we get programmed to follow authority blindly. Because from the ages of 5 up until 17 or 18, when you leave school, that's all you have been conditioned to do, which is listen, shut up, be quiet, don't speak, unless you're spoken to. And if you do speak, you're going to get in trouble or looked at as a dysfunctional child or a problem child, right? And so the people who do really good in school are the ones that are quiet, who listen and regurgitate and don't question, all right? What does a slave do? Listen to orders, takes it in, and regurgitates whatever it is that was being told. So there we go on that one. Tessa, a form of brainwashing to forget who we are? Definitely. Definitely. And how do we do that? We do that, they do it, the system starts when you are younger. right? And that's how they do it. Monique, you say, I told my daughter's teacher that my daughter is empathic and she looked at me puzzled. Right though? I told my daughter's teacher that too, but I don't pay attention to them, to be honest with you. I don't. Because I can't. Sorry about that. So Cassie, oh, hi Cassie, sweetheart. JD, absolutely right. Monique, which makes sense to why people are so scared of speaking up outside the box. Cassie, following the programming. Exactly, my sweethearts, exactly, right? We are all, to a certain degree, we are all conditioned to do this, right? So, when people look at me, or when people come to me and they're like, I have a degree, or I'm not even going to say people, I'm just saying in general, when people are like, I have a degree, or I'm going to university, a certificate of your education. You want to know why when you go into an employer's? Because let's follow the system here. So you've gotten your education, you've went through your indoctrination is what I call it, basically. Now you need your certificate. You need your high school diploma or your certificate to say that you've graduated school. Or you have your certificate, your diploma to say that you graduated from college or university or whatever degree that you have. Now here's the thing. We have been taught to value these certificates, to value these pieces of paper. Employers, right? Think of an employer. Do they really want an individual who is open, free in their mind, can make decisions? No, of course not. They don't want that. Most employers of today, they want worker bees. They want worker ants. They want mindless drones that basically can come into their place of employment and do a menial task over and over and over and over again. These tasks cause people stress, cause people depression, cause people anxiety. Right? How many people who are watching this right now cannot stand going into their place of employment? It doesn't fulfill them. They can't stand it. They cannot stand what they do. They cannot stand who they work with. Right? It does nothing but bring them misery. They live for the weekend. They live for those 2 days that they have off, if they manage to get those 2 days off. Right? So just think, that's what your employer wants. Your employer is not there going, oh, I want you to live freely within your heart and just be happy and be kind and be generous and be just flowing. They don't want that. No, they want a worker bee. They want a worker bee. So why do you think your employer requires you to have a high school diploma in order to get a job? Or on the application, they're like, you need to have, sorry about that. They're like, you need to have a diploma. You need to have this certificate to literally say that you are capable. Now, going back to this though, the way I look at it is, they need a diploma or they need a certificate because that proves that you have went through your indoctrination. It proves that you literally have gone through the programming to make you a better slave. They don't want people who have not gone through their proper indoctrination. When you hold up your degree, your diploma, it is literally going, I am a fully qualified slave. I am here I am here to start work. And you don't have to worry about me because I will not think outside of the box because I earned this diploma. I earned this piece of paper. I did all of the hard work to forget anything about myself, right? I can prove that I can listen and repeat and regurgitate information without thinking about it. That is what I see when I see a diploma, right? Because that little piece of paper has nothing to do with intelligence. It has nothing to do with your capabilities as who you are and what you can do and what you can produce to this world. How many individuals have the most creative souls that they create such beauty, whether that be on a technical basis, whether it be on a creative and artsy basis, whether it be just simply with the words that they use and how they connect to people. and how much bloody awesome crap can be created when people are not indoctrinated. But this is a part of the system, right? You are born into the system, you have your birth certificate, then you go through your cycle of indoctrination, of going through the school to get your certificate to prove that you're a good old slave, that you're ready for your servitude, that you will do whatever you can. Because at the end of the day, especially if they can, in Canada, this was one of the things, this was one of the notions in Canada, that they wanted every single person to make sure that they go through university. That was the Canadian dream, was for every single individual to have a university education. And I tell you this now, how many individuals who have a university education find it so difficult to break the pattern, to break the cycle, and get out of the system? It's so difficult. Because when you've went through the past 20 years of indoctrination, 15 to 20 years of school from when you were in kindergarten all the way up to when you graduate university, when you've put your heart and soul and effort into this, it's hard to let it go. Right? Because so many people put their worth into their education. So I've missed some comments here. I'm going to go back up and we're gonna read a few of these. So Monique, it makes people unhappy with their lives. Yes, I believe that was like about the jobs and so forth, right? Unhappiness. The law of attraction. If you are kept in a state of unhappiness, guess what you attract? You attract a shitload of unhappiness back to you, right? That is the law of attraction. That is not a law made by man. That is not a law made by any governing body. That is a law of the universe. That is a law of energy. If you are unhappy, you will attract unhappiness. And if you are in a system that perpetuates unhappiness, you will constantly be unhappy. Emma, churches brainwash. Religion is a massive tool for the system when it comes to, controlling the minds, keeping people in a box. So you're absolutely right. That is another form of the system that we'll go through. Kira, the searching for the meaning of life is with it. Knowing that no two people actually perceive the same event in the same way must mean that the meaning of life is different to every person in existence. Perfect point there, my sweetheart. Every single person is on their own journey, right? It is an individual experience. Every individual creates their own world. However, we are being molded into believing we are all literally the same, that there is no difference between us. Now, don't get me wrong. Our energy, we are all one. I am you, you are me, we are all one. But we are all here to have an individual experience at the same time. My experience was never meant to be your experience. And your experience never was meant to be my experience. However, when we go back to the source of creation, when we go back to our universal energy, because you experience something totally different, and I experience something totally different, our energy is then shared. So it's kind of like we had two lives and now we know all about it, right? So what's the point? How do you develop if everything is the same? You can't, right? So great point there, my dear. Emma, I'm labeled bipolar and there's nothing wrong with me. Emma, my sweetheart, if you're labeled bipolar, trust me, bipolarism is a form of your energy being literally pulled from here and there and everywhere, right? You can literally cure any sort of mental illness or dis-ease that you may have. Whether you believe you have it or not, it doesn't matter. When you literally exit the system, when you see the truth in what you see, right? You automatically, you raise frequency, everything becomes balanced and everything becomes aligned. And I'll tell you that because I had to cure my own bipolarism myself. I come from a family that has a sugar load of mental disorders in that sense. You know, it runs in the family. However, I also come from a family who has suffered tremendous trauma and abuse. You know, I come from a family of all girls. And my sisters, my mother, we all suffered a hell of a lot of physical and emotional abuse during our time. So, of course, that left our emotions to be totally swayed. Our hearts just blocked off and so forth. So of course, when you're dealing with that kind of pain, that kind of lack of understanding of what is happening with the energies inside you, yeah, we can then look at it and say it's bipolarism, but nah, it is a product of the system, right? I did not recognize that until I was able to literally cure myself, to heal myself, to balance everything, and now I can say, hey, I get it. I know what your problem is. I can see what this shit is. And we know how to heal you, because once you're healed, there is no such thing as any of this, right? Ali, are you in good health now? Yes, Ali, thank you so much, my sweetheart. I am in better health now. Not to say that I wasn't in health before, but of course, development just means that I stopped Facebook for a while. Kenneth, thanks. You're welcome, my dear. Cassie, because it confirms your process to programming. Yes, if we're talking about the indoctrination, yes, definitely. Monique, it also shows how much money you put in it to enable to receive money back for your efforts. Oh, right though? Right. And this is again part of the system. It's crazy. Cassie, that's why they resisted and still resist in some places, home or self-schooling. Exactly. If you want to homeschool yourself, if you want to homeschool your children, you are literally frowned upon, because you are looked at as, well, you don't have all the information, even though you got your little indoctrination form. But they're going to be like, no, you don't have your qualification. They need to isolate you from your children. And you as a child, they want to isolate you from your parents so that they can formally program you into literally being a good indoctrinated servitude slave there. Kenneth, how do you overcome such a massive lie? We are going to go through that, sweetheart, so you stay till the end there. Molly, I have decided to shut down my business to get out of the system. It's scary. Molly, I know exactly what you mean, because I had to do that myself. I know there's a lot of people who listen to me, and they know this already. I had a really successful business because I was always a business lady in the system, and I was very successful, but I was always unhappy. And I had that calling too. This was back in May. I had the calling that I had to shut down my business. In June, I had no more business, and it was incredibly scary. But I tell you, you follow the flow of the universe, you keep following what's in your heart and what's good, and it literally takes care of you, sweetie. 47.5 spent on BS. I'm guessing that's years, my sweet. Yep, definitely, and so many more. But don't worry, once you get out the system, once you start doing things for you, you can start to cellular regenerate. So 57 does not have to be wasted time. Look at it as now is your birth. Now is the time that you are truly awake and opening your eyes. Now is the time you're getting your body healthy. Now is the time to live. And don't even worry about your age, because when your cells regenerate, age ain't nothing but a number. Dennis, zombie life. Go to work, come home, eat dinner, go to bed, get up, repeat the cycle. Exactly. Kenneth, look what they've done for them. Like, 1 second, my dear. I did not understand in what context that was. Kira, I have bipolar also. Yeah, so many people do. And again, it is all because of this damn system. But we're going to go into that a little bit more. Okay. Cassie, starseeds tend to incarnate into trauma situations. It's by border of coming to heal and to learn the worst situation. Yes. I'm going to do a video on starseeds to be more specific, because technically there's a lot more to go on with that comment, and I don't want to get too off track for today. Monique, that's what they did to kings and queens. A child was taken away to mold into position. Right? This is all of it. This is all of it. Kira, I concluded that it was a product of the system also. Right? Right? Brilliant points, you guys. So, we went through school. Now we are on to work. Okay? Work. We go to school. We spend a bomb on school, because we are told that for us to be able to progress, to live the life that they advertise, right? Because it's an advertisement. You know, when you see the system and you see it for everything that it does, right? Sorry, I got a little bit distracted there. When you see the system and for everything it does, you're just like, you would never pay a damn dime for anything, right? However, you have paid so freaking much into this, your education, because you have been told this is what you are going to get. The advertisement of a nice car, a big house, a white picket fence, a beautiful wife or a beautiful husband, beautiful children. Because if you have this piece of paper, this indoctrination to show that you're a good slave, right? If you have this, you're going to receive a wonderful life. But that's all a flippin' lie, right? So, why is it a lie? Well, let's go back to this here. What is the goal of the system? Let's take it way back. What's the goal of the system? Now, you have to understand that the system is trying to take your energy, right? That's the goal of the system. Your focus is so incredibly important. Whatever you focus on will manifest into this material world, right? Manifests in the matrix. Your thoughts are of the ethereal, all right? Your thoughts, whenever you have a thought, you are producing energy. That energy then goes into your solar plexus. That your energy in your solar plexus is what literally is the fire or the kickstart to bring whatever into material. So for example, if my goal was to carry water from my sink to right here, right? First I'd have to have a thought, right? What do I need the water for, right? So the first thing I do is have a thought. Then I'm thinking, well, how do I get the water here? And maybe I'll be like, oh, I will do this. Hello, Rakul, sweetheart. Yes, I know I've missed your call, Rakul, my dear. I will give you a shout as soon as I finish this live, my dear. Okay. So, and I'm going to get on to some of the other comments there. So, anywho, my thought about how to get water from my tap to here, well, you know, we thought of a water bottle, right? We thought we just need a little container to put it in there. So my thoughts have now turned into a manifestation because now I have water that is right here and I can shake it around and it's not spilling everywhere and I've transported it easily, right? So your thoughts generate the emotion, generate the energy to bring whatever your thoughts are into reality. Now, the system knows this. However, the system can literally not exist unless you are focusing on it, unless you are thinking about it, unless you are participating and consenting within it. Okay? So this is why they want you from birth to be within the system, so that from when you are able to have any cognitive abilities to think beyond or for yourself, they want to catch your focus. Right? Now, the reason that they want your focus is, again, because the system cannot exist unless you are participating or focusing on it. And I really mean it. Right? I mean that in its entirety. It cannot exist unless you are focusing on it. So they are constantly trying to train you to focus on the system. So, that was the overall thing there, right? So now, you are in a status where you have went through your indoctrination, now you are working. You are working completely blind because for all of your childhood you have been taught how to how to listen and repeat yourself. So you go into work and what do? You listen and you repeat. Okay? You listen and you repeat. You go into a job that doesn't resonate with you. You do it so that you can earn money. Money is the system also. Let's look at money and how it's created. Now, money is the middleman, right? How does it keep you enslaved and in a position of servitude? Well, the way I was explaining it with Lip Up the other day was this. If I make blankets, right? And because I have a wonderful skill and I make a lot of blankets, right? And if Lipup makes teddy bears, okay, he's got a wonderful skill with teddy bears. Now, he needs a blanket because he's cold, and I need a teddy bear because I want to give it to as a gift to somebody, or I like teddy bears, right? Would it not make sense for me to approach Lipup and just to say, hey, I have a blanket and you have a teddy bear. Let's trade, right? I have loads of blankets. I don't need any more blankets, but I don't have any teddy bears. I would like a teddy bear. And Lipup has loads of teddy bears, but he doesn't have a blanket. So let's trade, right? Let's trade. However, the system, what the system did was said, wait, that's equal energy exchange. They're not focusing on the middleman at that point. They're not focusing on it. They're focusing on each other. When they focus on each other and they're doing this equal energy exchange, everybody's happy. But that cuts us out. We don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, Clip, you want that teddy bear? Well, I'm going to make you go work 40 hours a week in order to get money so that you can go buy that teddy bear. And Lip, I'm going to make you go work 40 hours a week so you can get money so you can buy that blanket. So then Clip and Lip come together, and we have literally spent 40 hours elsewhere so that we could come back to here and still trade. How much sense does that make? Would it not make a far more sense to just simply cut out the money part and trade? Right? But people don't think like that anymore. They don't. What they do now is they go, okay, well, I got to go get money so that I can trade all of these things. So we can exchange something in the middle, but it's completely and utterly senseless. Right? It's senseless. So another way money kind of controls and holds you to a place. How many individuals pay car insurance? How many individuals pay car tax, for example, right? When has having insurance ever prevented an accident? Let's put it out here. You know, some people, let's say you pay $3,000 every year for car insurance, right? And you've had a car for 5 years, right? So really, you've paid $15,000, right, over the last 5 years in car insurance. You've never gotten into an accident, right? And even if you did get into an accident, depending on what it was, you know, you would no doubt be like, oh, I don't even want to talk about I'm not even going to make a claim with my insurance. Like, let's keep this on the down low. Now, let's say you had $15,000 you've given away because somebody said you need to, right? Again, another part of servitude there. Somebody said you need to do this. So, you've given away $15,000. You get into a little fender bender. And then what happens? Right? Then they say, oh, you've gotten into an accident. So, the person made a claim, which only cost $500. So, you've just paid out $14,500 over the last little bit, but you've spent $500 out of it, but now they're going to, instead of charging you $3,000, they're going to charge you $5,000 per year. So then over another how many years, you're paying $20,000 just for the sake of having a car. What sense does this make? Because you also have to think that money that you paid on car insurance, you had to go work your ass off for it, doing something you don't want to do, and doing whatever you just did. You've had to go earn a degree or an indoctrination in order to get that job in the first place. So again, it puts you right back into this level of unhappiness, nonsensical. It doesn't work. Okay, let me get up a little bit more of these comments. So let's have a look here. I'm just going to go back up. Amali, you say, I'm diagnosed as bipolar as well, but already have known that it is my energy pulling in different directions, what I wanted and what was programmed. Exactly, Molly. Exactly. All it is awareness in order to get over that. That's for damn sure. But well done. Dennis, when you don't conform to society, you get labeled. They said I had OCD. Turns out I'm a genius in my own way. It's just right. Right? Society, again, a system keeping you in place. Cassie, yes, there's a lot to the Starseeds journey. So very much. So very much. And I will definitely do a video on that one. That's for sure, my dear. Michelle, keeps you asleep. The system, definitely. Dennis, containment and control through confusion. Exactly. Because what does confusion lead to? Confusion is a product of fear. When you are fearful, you are giving your energy away to that fear. You are feeding that fear. The system is based on fear and servitude. Right? So every time you are a part of it, so every time you are a part of the system, you are feeding the fear, feeding the confusion, feeding the beast. Sarah, trying to keep you asleep and keep you enslaved. You got it. Valerio, energy. My energy ranges from high to low, from positive to negative, from feeling loved to feeling neglected. How do we maintain our energy levels at a consistent state of okay? What are your thoughts on this? Well, to be honest with you, I know this is a little off topic, but still, if anybody is in the system, because this is what the system perpetuates. It keeps you in a state of dis-ease amongst yourself. It keeps you in a state of sickness, in a lower frequency or a lower vibration. That is its purpose, right? Because if the system is negative and you are positive, positive plus positive equals more positive. Negative plus negative just equals more negative. And eventually negative will eat itself, right? Negative energies literally will eat itself, and it constantly needs to be fed. Whereas if you are living in love and light, you don't need to be fed. All you need to do is be and exist. And the energy comes to you because you are generating energy. Right? It's just like that friction that you just get hotter and hotter and hotter. But negativity is like, nah. So how do you maintain a consistent level of energy where you're balanced? Meditation. Meditation, commitment, determination, and hard work. Because it's easy to face the love. When you feel love, it's easy as pie. It feels great and it's enjoyable. But when you are faced with negativity, too many people run away from the negativity, Valerios. They run away from it, right? So what you have to do is you have to stop running from the negativity. Stop what you're doing. Look inside yourself and face it. Doesn't matter how painful it's going to be in that moment. You got to face it. You have to face it. You have to process it. Process this negativity. Become aware of it. Become aware of what produced it. And then when you know what produced it, you stop it. Right? You stop it. And that's simply what it is. That's what it is. I became aware that the system was producing negativity within me. Because I have a very, very, very strong affliction to servitude. I cannot stand to be governed by anybody else. The system was governing me. Right? And it was a cause of me being unhappy. Because I felt I needed to stay in this box of that society had set out for me. I had to be the successful business lady. Anything I put out there, I had to charge money for it. Because that was what was most important. And that went against my heart. Right? I don't like charging people money for anything. I don't like to do so. So I don't, and I don't want to. I don't want to charge people for these readings or for these lessons. I don't want to. It goes against me. But society would tell me that, no, you have to charge. You have to get subscribers. You have to copyright the music that you make and put out there. You got to protect yourself. And I'm like, nah. That's the system. That goes against me. So I'm not going to do it. So, when I recognize this, Valerios, when I recognize it, I simply stopped participating. I said, screw it, I'm going to teach people because that's what I want to do. That's what makes me feel good. That's how I gain a lot of energy back in the ethereal, and that's great, right? And people benefit from it. right? So I'm like, nah, I stopped that stuff. You know, I don't agree with the way, I don't like the way schools work, right? I don't think kids are taught anything. So I gave my kids the option. I said, hey, do you want to go to school? And they're like, yeah, we do. And I'm like, okay, but best know that you're going to school for just the social enjoyment of being with your classmates, finding friends and so forth. But as soon as I find that the programming is, that you're taking on board the programming, you're out of school. I ain't putting you there. This is the last time they're ever going to be in school. This is the last year. They don't want, they really do. They want to be with their friends, right? And I'm like, no, no more indoctrination. So that's what I can tell you there, my sweetheart. Emma, the law of attraction will attract what you need in all aspects of your life. Don't worry as you're blocking your abundance. Exactly. Well said, my dear. Monique, they made money to control. Exactly. We can't live or eat without created currency. Trading and sharing is more legitimate. You're absolutely right, Monique. That is part of the system. They have made you worship money, to be so dependent on money, to live your life around money, because it keeps you in a state of servitude, right? Keeps you in a state of servitude. To constantly rely on the middleman and say that you cannot go to your brethren, you cannot go to your neighbor and accurately trade what it is that you need is silly, right? Is silly. But then again, there is also the notion that people can't have used things. That is another part of the system, you know, to be programmed to believe that you need everything new, that everything has to be brand new. And guess what? Everything is new. And what does it do nowadays? It breaks. So then you need to buy another one over and over and over and over again, and it's the stupidest thing I've ever thought of. Anyway, Cassie, yes, that constant focus is why they created all of these types of reality shows, TV shows, the craze in politics, etc. Distraction. Wonderful, Cassie, thank you ever so much for saying that. That is so bloody true, right? When you become aware of the deep unhappiness that the system is causing you, when you see the pattern of misery that it creates, if you stay in that pattern of misery for too long without a distraction, one of two things are going to happen. You are either going to rebel against it or you are going to fall victim to it. So you'll either see a mass amount of death or you see a mass amount of people going, well, no, I'm changing the pattern. I'm not living in unhappiness. So this is why, to keep you in the system, they have to give you distractions, something for you to escape the system for just a moment. And they do that with TV shows, with the farce that is politics. You know, with everything, all of this, like with phones, with technology, you are constantly distracted so that when you are not working, when you are not in your servitude, you are looking somewhere else. And you're not focusing on your reality. You're focusing on the reality of some celebrity, right? And you're getting so involved in their lives that you're forgetting to live your own life. You're forgetting that you are in a form of servitude so that, you know, you just follow your pattern. It's horrible. Get that way, my bits there. Michelle, a barter system. If only we had one. Monique, car insurance makes no sense. I had this argument with my sister the other day. I totally agree. Sorry, car insurance just came from the top of my head, right? So that was the best example I got there. Agree. Wonderful. Monique, I don't like charging either, right? It's just, and by all means, I'm definitely not saying if you have a business and you charge people and so forth like that, then that's totally a prerogative. That's totally up to you. And I'm no judgment cast whatsoever. And I wish you nothing but success, love, peace, joy, abundance, wealth, health, and happiness. I'm just saying that for me, it doesn't resonate with me. I don't like money. I don't like that kind of crap. Sorry, I say crap like that. Onala, you say, so many people don't want to face the negativity, but wonder why it keeps coming back. Pattern, cycles, system. Right? Emma, I give free readings to people who are crying out for guidance, was told to charge, but also not in my heart, right? Because again, these gifts, like, oh gosh, I'm not, you know what, we're going to have to go on, we're going to have to do another one of those, because I'm about to go into a rant about readings and charging and all of this kind of stuff, but we're going to do that another day. Jen, thank you so much for your teachings. Oh, you're very, very welcome. Mary, money is the root of all evil. I agree. Well, to be honest, the root of all evil is fear. But money is definitely a good way of controlling. Monique, I get everything used. Excellent. Beta, what puzzles me is the new laws where car seats have expiration dates. The problem is that the plastic never degrades in landfills. How can it expire? Young mothers are brainwashed into needlessly spending hundreds of dollars for each kid. Oh, right though? Again, we are programmed to worship bloody money. And it's stupid. It's... Okay, I'm just literally having a rant here. But let's go back onto the system. What other parts of the system do we actually recognize? Like, how do we recognize when you're playing it? So, when we are going into... So, we went from birth, indoctrination through schools and education, employment, keeping you basically in a cycle of patterns that you just do not enjoy. And by the way, anybody who's just like, but I love my job. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I will say to you, if you were to do it on a volunteer basis, would you still do it? Would you go into work for 40 to 50 hours a week or however many hours you work? And if they said, nope, you get no paycheck. We just want you to do this work for the sake of it. If you can honestly say, yes, I would be here every single day, regardless, doing this work, then I say, great. You have found your purpose. You have found your calling. Live in it and be happy and don't let it go for anything. However, if you can honestly say that, nope, I would not show up on Monday if they were not paying me, then you have your answer. You are in servitude. All right? You are in servitude. Because you are only doing it so that you can get money. Because you are in servitude not only to the job for the money, but you are in servitude to money. And money is a product of the system. So meaning that if you are in servitude to the system, to money, you are in servitude to the system. And if you are in servitude to the system, then you are a slave. There is no way, you are not free, you are a slave if that is the case. Mary, I agree about fear, right? Yep, fear. Because why do people want money, Mary? Because they fear their own survival, right? They fear that they do not have enough, that they are not completely and utterly abundant, right? They are in fear, and fear is a lie. So, anywho's, Dennis, stupid laws. Damn right, the government does such dumb-ass laws. It makes absolutely no sense. Mary, programmed like robots day after day. Everybody. Totally. Absolutely right. Now, let's go on a little, and let's go on into the government, right? And how the government has literally molded you into this mind frame, right? Now, I'm going to put it out there. When I was asleep, oh, was I ever asleep? And I was just like, the government is here for us. I voted. I made sure everybody around me, I'm like, hey, you voting? You voting? We got to vote. We got to take we've got to take this into our own hands. I voted. Taxes, I'd pay taxes. I would cross every T, dot every I. Make sure that I was doing everything I was supposed to do. If you needed to file your taxes by April, I filed mine in January. I followed the book with everything. So the next set of statements I say does not come from an individual who has been raised out of the system or who's just like, nah, la, la, la. Nah, this comes from an individual who was so far in the system before, woke up, recognized the truth of what it was, and now is completely out of it. Alright? So, my beliefs before, when I was asleep, which a lot of people are totally trapped by, which is that the government is here for us. Okay? Now, how is this a lie, and how is this the system? Well, the government is not here for us. They claim that they are, the government is made up of representatives who represent the people. and it is the people who are the government. All right? So this is an example to look by, and I'm sure some of you may have already heard this example before, but I want you to think of it this way. If the government is the people, then the government makes laws, right? That the people have to follow these laws. Now, if I don't have the right, or if it is against the law for me to, let's say I wanted this land, right? Let's say I wanted to build, there is a bunch of land that is located somewhere out in the middle of nowhere or whatever like that, and I just wanted to build a house on that land because I looked around, nobody was there, nobody was like, this was just land. All right, so I'm like, you know what, I'm going to build a house. Now the government will come to you and say, you are not allowed to build that house. All right? And then you'd be like, okay, well, because that's theft. That's stealing. You're now stealing the land from another individual, right? Or from the government, right? So then you're like, okay, well, the government is the people. Yeah, the government is the people. So what authority do you have to arrest me for this crime that I've committed? Right? So let's say, like, you know, a cop was coming up to me this way. Now, you would be like, okay, well, what gives you the authority to now punish me for this crime of building a house on land that was just land? All right? Then the cop's going to say, well, I have the power from the people. But it's kind of like, well, I am the people. So if I don't have power to simply come here and build a house, then why do you have the power to take away my freedom from me? Right? To arrest me for it. If my power is your power and you're saying I don't have the power, then why do you have the power? Right? I hope that made sense. Lipup totally explained it in a much, much better way. But just think about that. The government says that it is a body of people that is literally made up of the people, for the people, by the people, but yet the people have absolutely no authority within the government that is made up of the people. It's nonsensical. Dennis, you say, we are here for them to fund their games of control, a vicious cycle of paying into abuses. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Dennis. That was a brilliant comment. Because again, if that's what the government is there for, right? And it's just as you were saying, it is literally a way for them to fund the games of control. Because we got to remember, the overall goal of the government is not to care for you. The overall goal of the government is to control you, to keep you in servitude, so that you can continually generate and give your energy and your focus to it. So you are feeding it. You are feeding this servitude. All right? Now, they've got you thinking that you have to pay taxes. You don't. You do not have to pay taxes. They have you thinking that you have to send your children to these schools. You don't. You don't have to send your kids to these schools. You know, you do not have to, for your children to be successful, happy, for you to be successful and happy, you do not need to go to these institutions. Right? They have you believing that you need to have their supermarkets, that you need to have their industry. You don't. You do not need to eat the food that they are giving you. You do not need to have these services that they are giving you. You can get all of these yourself. You can. And in abundance. And fruitfully. Alright? Mary, the people have to pay taxes and permits. Yes. You pay taxes to literally... For what? I want you to think about this. Yeah? You pay taxes. You take a form of your energy. Because where does the tax money come from? Right? you get 20% or, 13 to 20%, depending on what country you're in, or more, taken from your salary, okay? Which, by the way, the salary that you go earn in order for you to pay for housing so that you can live nicely so you can go to servitude. You get the salary so that you can buy food, right? Which is half rotten at the grocery stores or full of chemicals, which again keeps you sick. You have this salary so you can get transportation to where? To work. You literally have a salary to pay for your own expenses in order to continue on in this cycle of servitude. Right? That's like, and then they want to take more from you because you are in servitude. So I just want you to think about that. Just think about that just for a hot second. You go to work to pay for a house, to pay for transportation, to pay for education, to pay for food, to pay for resources. Food and resources you can get naturally from the land. You can grow your own food. Water falls from the sky. Air is human, There's ways that people have been living off of the land successfully and in abundance for years before a supermarket came into place. Right? You can get your food, your water, and everything you need to sustain your life by yourself. Just like every other animal on this God-given planet. Like, when have you ever seen a lion go down to the benefits office going like, hey, I just need to fill in an application form because there's not any more gazelle that are around? Of course not. It's silly. We are the same way. Everything we need to sustain ourselves we can find in nature. We can grow it ourselves, we can cultivate, we can do these things. Right? Now, again, so you go for this. You pay for your own transportation to get for work. You pay for your own roof of your head. And then the government comes and takes more, and you pay the government in order to simply just exist. Right? You pay them to exist. That is literally like if you had a slave. If you literally had a slave come in to clean your entire house, right? Except for your slave basically pays you to do it. You're going to give your slave $100 to say like, hey, I'm going to give you $100 every week, right? And they come in and they take that $100 in order to come to you, to pay for the house that they live in, to buy their own food, right? And then they come to you, and then you're going to be like, you know what, by the way, out of that $100, I'm also going to take $20 back, okay? Because you know what? I'm giving you a wonderful environment to work in. So I'm going to take that back. Again, this doesn't make sense. That is what the government is doing. You are paying for your own servitude. Right? You pay for it. You don't have to. And not only that, but I want you to think that $20 or that 20% in your taxes, where does that go? Because it doesn't go into your schools and your education, because people are coming out of school more indoctrinated than ever. People come out of school and find failure faster than ever before. People not being able to get jobs and again going back into the whole system and the cycle. People are sadder than ever before. They are more unhealthy than ever before. Right? So what is the government paying? So this taxes that you're paying, where is it going? So it's definitely not going towards that. It definitely doesn't go towards your health. How many people, even if you believe in a doctor and hospitals and those kinds of systems and you don't believe in self-healing, like you go to the doctors, your healthcare standards are atrocious. What is the government doing to ensure that your body is healthy and well? Nothing. But what do? They push on more drugs on you that destroys your system. They force a bunch of unhealthy food on you, right? Full of chemicals, GMO, poisons, pesticides, They put out rotting food in grocery stores or allow this to happen, right? So you're not healthy, you're not educated, right? Okay, well maybe they'll give you housing. Nope. Have you ever been in government housing before? The little bits of housing that they do give those who may require it? poorly kept. Plumbing doesn't work most of the time. There leaks are happening. The status of these households are not, they're nothing but literally four walls and a shell, right? So you got to think, you're paying out taxes for years and years and years. You don't get any housing of it. Do they pay for your transport? Nope. Oh, you may be able to get, if you are disabled, you have to literally be so unwell, perhaps you are going to then get some free bus tickets. Right? Perhaps, maybe. You know, maybe, oh, they'll maybe like, oh, maybe they'll give you some food stamps or some benefits in some way. You think that that's where it's going? Of course not. It does not take very much to feed your citizens, to keep them healthy, to keep them well. But no, they don't do any of that. What they're going to do is maybe give you $40 to go buy the food that is keeping you unhealthy and unwell and in this state. So again, you're not healthy, you can't travel anywhere, or nowhere far anyway. You can't educate yourself, so you can't do that. Yet you stay within a life of servitude. You know, you go to work all the time. That's what they promote. So what is it that your taxes go on? You may say, oh, they go on infrastructure. For what? Where? The infrastructure that they build is crumbling. How many roads and so forth? The infrastructure that you see, that is beautiful, that is like really up to date, where does that come from? A lot of private companies. It doesn't come from your government. You know? They say, oh, well, you need to pay road tax every single year so that you can drive in roads that are beautiful and clean. Well, no. No. They have like things like sponsor a highway over here. They have literal, like, you built a road back in 1970. How come I'm paying right now for this road that you built 50 years ago? Right? Why am I paying for something that is 50 years old that is crumbling? They want to say like, oh, we need money to help the bridges and infrastructure. How many bridges do you go across that you're like, holy shit, everybody hold your breath, because this thing may crumble underneath us. You see the concrete literally coming out from under you, right? So you're not getting infrastructure either. Because private companies, the wealthy, the 1%, they invest in infrastructure if it is to benefit them, right? So anyway. Oh, but where do your tax dollars go to? Well, they bail out a lot of banks. They fund a lot of war, right? When you pay your taxes, you are literally paying into the bombs and missiles that are going to be dropped on your brethren from another country, right? That is what your tax dollars support and fund. Now, you're going to say like, oh, well, you know, maybe there's a good reason why they're bombing these countries. No. The reason they're bombing these countries is because they want to set up a world bank in that country, or they want a resource, oil or something, that they can use to, again, fuel the system, to fuel your slavery, to fuel your servitude. Right? It's all a massive scam. So, when I figured this out, I stopped paying my taxes. I'm like, nope. I won't do it. I don't give a rat's ass what everybody says. I won't fund war. I won't participate. I will not give my focus there. Right? So, but the government, again, they want you to stay involved. So they tell you to vote. Vote for your favorite politician. I used to be really, really up on that. All bullshit. All bullshit. It is a play. It is no more than a reality TV show. Because the system will always leave you in servitude. So it doesn't matter who is the face of the system for that 4-year term or 8-year term or whatever term that they're doing. It doesn't matter who's the face of it. You will always find that you are in servitude. Because it doesn't matter. So I used to vote. I don't vote anymore. I don't vote because, again, I won't participate. I am not going to vote for an individual that is literally going to govern me. Right? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say, I don't give a rat's ass what you want to do. I don't give a rat's ass what you, where you want to place tax dollars here, because I don't pay taxes. I don't give a rat's ass what permit you need me to get, because I'm like, I don't follow your system. I'm not going to apply for it. Right? Whatever I need. I'm not going to ask for a permit to catch rainwater. It bloody well falls from the sky. I'm going to put a bucket out. Like, it's my own prerogative. Right? If the system tells me you have to send your kids, or you have to vaccinate your children in order for them to go to school, I'd be like, my kids ain't going to school. Fingers bloody crossed that they, like I said, they're not going to school next year. Anyway, right? So you don't participate. You simply say no. Sorry, let me get onto this. Emma, they are secretly using your thought process. Exactly. That is the manipulation. That is the programming to get you to focus on this. If you are constantly focused on your servitude, if you constantly believe that you need to pay taxes, then you will pay those taxes because they're shifting your focus. They use a lot of fear tactics, don't they? They say, if you don't do this, you're going to be lost. If you don't do this, you're going to go to prison. They use fear. Your government holds you under duress. If you have nothing to give, because it's already taken everything from you. You already give so much out of your paycheck for taxes. Then you give out for childcare. Then you give out for poor food. Then you give out for accommodation and transport. You have nothing left to give. And they still say, if you can't give more, you're going to go to prison. So what do? You get a second job. You're under duress. You're not free. You're under duress. You do these things because you believe there is a consequence. But I'm telling you, that is one thing. If the government says it is the people, you are the people. Right? So stop focusing on it. Stop focusing on it. And be the people. Right? Understand your power and understand that your focus is so important. So stop focusing. Stop focusing outwards and start focusing inwards. All that magic that they want to get from you, all that energy, all that beauty that you can create, produce, that now goes to the luxuries, goes to the 1%, all the beauty and effort and the creative genius that you put in, that benefits the rich, but it doesn't benefit you. All right? So take that beautiful focus you have and put it on you. Don't put it on anybody else. Nobody else. Don't put it on me. Don't put it on the government. Don't put it on schools. Don't put it on your friends. Don't put it on your family. Just put it on you. Put it on you and see how you grow. See what happens. Emma, think who does make the laws? We need a revolution, a spiritual revolution to come together as one, as the system is deciding us. Absolutely right. And that's another thing. When we look at laws, who does create these laws? The politicians create the laws. But the politicians don't follow the laws. How many politicians, literally, again, I've said this before, how many politicians are up on criminal charges for rape, for child molestation, for human trafficking, for drug trafficking? Mitch McConnell's, his wife's big-ass barge had like how many tons of cocaine in it, But yet he's still a congressman, right? How many of these politicians do utterly foul things, but yet they're the ones that make the laws that we need to follow? I'm like, you can't even follow your own laws. Why do you want me to follow them? So Emma, you're absolutely right. It's a bunch of bullshit. And yes, the spiritual revolution, the revolution that is upon us right now is spreading the knowledge of waking up, becoming aware of the truth to our realities. Like Morpheus said, it is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. Share this information, because when the truth is out there, we're no longer blind. And when we're no longer blind, we can focus our attentions on the things that we love, on our heart's desires, and then we will see the world change. It is inevitable. It is literally the consequence of being aware, being awake, and being able to channel your focus. Cassie, Yes, but the body of the people is then filtered down to majority rules. Majority rules, yes. So even if you and I are out of the system, we have no voice because those who are asleep are the majority. Cassie, see, this is it. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video, because that is a perfect point there. But that is because you are still trying to place yourself within the system, right? We have to remember we are all here on individual journeys. You have been programmed to believe that we are all one and we all like that. Well, we are, our energy is all one. But I can be out of the system, right? And will it affect the majority? Me, just me, little old Kulipup here, not paying taxes, not complying with anything in the government, not following the laws of mankind, but only here following the laws, natural law, the laws of the universe. No, of course not. That has nothing to do. Like, I'm not going to affect the majority, right? Just because I stop paying my taxes does not mean everybody else is like, whoa, the whole system's gonna crash. Not at all. But what is gonna happen is I'm gonna live a better life. I'm gonna live a life of freedom, right? I'm gonna live a life that has nothing to do with anxiety over authority, over money, over the future and well-being of myself and my family. By me not being in the system, it doesn't change everybody else's life, but it changes my life, right? It makes me a better person because I found happiness. I found abundance. I found peace and I found joy. So, to answer your question, don't even worry about the majority. Don't worry about everybody else. Exit the system for yourself. Exit the system so that you are no longer in servitude. And let everybody else decide what they want to do, because our journeys are completely different, right? If somebody chooses to be within servitude, there's nothing you can do about that. You can do what I'm doing, of course, which is basically I'm just sharing my truth. I'm guiding and coaching and just sharing what is inside my own mind and my own head and my own consciousness. And hey, if that resonates with you, that's wonderful. If it doesn't, that's fine. Move on, right? But at the end of the day, I've healed myself. I'm well. I see the truth in what it is. And because I love everybody, and I love you, Cassie, I love every single person that's watching, I'm going to tell you, so that you can stop living this servitude in blind ignorance. And you can start to become aware of the servitude that you're in. And then you can make the decision whether you want to be in the servitude or whether you want to exit from it. So again, that is what I say when it comes to the majority. Don't even worry about it, right? If the majority of people in this world still said, Kulipup, I'm going to pay my taxes to the day I die, I'm going to support the war, I'm going to support this system, then I'd be like, all the best to you. I'm going to go sip my tea, which I grew in my garden, and enjoy it and bask in my youthful glow and my youthful body, because my body is healthy and well, and I'm not in that system, you know. And I'm going to watch how my children grow up with balanced minds, free of insecurity, free of not knowing who they are, you know, they're going to grow. I'm going to watch them grow into literally who they are and be fantastic individuals, right? So that's what I say to you on that one, my dear. Diana, hello, my sweetheart. Mary, where I live, they have you pay taxes on your vehicle before you can get tags for your vehicle. Mary, I would just say, if you own the vehicle, drive it. That's what I do. Literally. I don't give a rat's ass whether somebody wants to, if somebody's like, oh, you need to tax this, you need to do that. I'm like, no, I don't. To be honest with you. Because when you raise in frequency and raise in energy and everything like that, you literally write your own script. I don't pay for any of these things. I drive my vehicle just fine. But I also know that I'm going to be just fine because, one, I don't drive like a maniac. I drive with the intention that I want to keep not only myself safe, but the people around me safe. So I don't go like a speed demon down the road just simply because I'm mindful and aware and being careful, and I don't want any harm to come to anybody. So for one, I don't drive dangerously. And two, I literally wield the energy so that no law enforcement comes around me. They are literally diverted. So I don't give a rat's ass if people don't see a sticker on my car. I'm like, that's fine. The only time it would ever be valid is if an authority were to come to me and say, hey, you don't have a sticker on your car. And even if that did come about, which it won't, because again, I literally divert them in all different directions away from me. But even if they did, I would look them dead in the eye and say, I don't comply. I'm not a part of your system. The admiral law that you go by, which is marine or maritime law anyway, which has no grounding in the land that we were actually on, because that's another thing as well. You follow laws, but you have no clue where those laws originate from or under what basis. There's a reason why judges wear the white curly hats going down. Possibly do a little bit of research into that and see why. Because again, maritime law, law of the ocean. You're not on the ocean. This is land. So there, you know what? That is another kind of thing that we go through. Because I'm about to trail off into that, and we don't even have time for that. But literally, I don't give a rat's ass when anybody wants to come. Because again, I don't follow the laws of mankind. Because when you feel my heart, you feel nothing but love and acceptance and truth, right? So what do I have to fear, and why am I complying to slavery when I ain't hurting nobody? Okay. Cassie, lol, not the line in the employment line, right though? That's what I'm saying. We are all beings of nature. We are all beings of nature. You will never find an animal going into servitude to anyone. Not at all. So why should we? Right? Okay. Emma, how can we change the system is what we need to think about. We know about the system. The way we beat the system is to come together as one. The way we beat the system. Emma, again, the way we beat the system is to stop focusing on it. Literally what it is. There is no other way you can do so besides not focusing. Besides not focusing on it. Because again, if you have a massive amount of individuals who are caught in this system, and you are trying to change the system within the system, you got to think the system has literally taken thousands of years to develop into this kind of bit. And even the last 100 years, it has developed into the government we see today. There is intricate step upon step upon step, loophole upon loophole, confusion upon confusion, fear stacked upon fear, right? The system is in our minds, and it is programmed. It is a generational program that reinforces itself with each generation that goes through. So the only way to beat this system is to stop even trying to comply with it. Don't comply with it. You have to literally stop participating in it. Stop consenting to it. You know what? Mary, there's still homeless and starving people. There are still homeless and starving people because the system perpetuates that. Do you know how many homeless and starving people there would be if everybody was taught to look inside themselves? There would be no homeless or starving people. There would be no starving people because we just grow our food. It comes out of the dirt. It literally just comes out of the ground. Just pick it, right? There is nobody on this earth that cannot grow food. And if you're finding growing food too tedious, there is nobody out there who cannot go in and go find food that has already grown. Like, it's where we put our focus, right? And you're only homeless because you are still asking for a home. Stop asking for a home and go get one, right? I know that sounds easier said than done, but it is not, I promise you. But I don't have the time to go through it. Okay, so let's have a look here. Charles, I think it goes to the crown. With all due respect, that's what I was told via past research. If we're talking about taxes, yeah, and all that crap. Okay, the wealthy will invest in anything that gives them a tax credit. The wealthy will invest in anything that gives them a return. And normally, that investment is based off of your own servitude. Right? Based off of your own servitude. Okay, that's crazy. Why do you need a permit to collect rainwater? Makes no sense. Right? Oh, Jesus. You need a permit for everything. For everything. And it's dumb. Okay, so let's have a look here. Emma, you say, some people don't want truth and fear not being in the system. I follow my heart, not giving in to fear. Humanity needs courage to break free. Yes. Now, here's the thing. We have so many individuals who believe they are not a part of the system, but they are very much so a part of the system. Right? This is a touchy subject, right? But I'm going to say it anyway. Now, as you all can see, I'm a melanated individual. Okay, I say melanated because I have a mixture of so many things inside of me. You know, I have Caucasian, I have Caribbean, I have Indian, I have I'm going to say like Asian, like kind of Chinese around that area or there. So I am full of everything, right? Absolutely everything. So I'm just letting everybody know here. I want you guys to look at the issue, Black Lives Matter, okay? How is Black Lives Matter part of the system? Now, if I offend some of you, then I am sorry, sweethearts. You are not ready to hear this message then, and I wish you well, and I hope you come back at some point. Because I know race is a very, very touchy issue for so many individuals. That's why I said I'm pretty much a part of everything, right? So let's look at Black Lives Matter. How is this part of the system? Okay? And how are you being controlled by it? Or how are you being swayed by it? And this is for everybody. So, and sorry, this is, of course, pointing out, you know, Emma, when you said some people don't want truth and fear not being in the system. I follow my heart, not giving into fear. Humanity needs to break free and have courage. So, and again, the reason why I'm mentioning Black Lives Matter on this is because it's a very, very good way of showing you how you can believe you are not a part of the system, but yet still so very well be so much so a part of it. Okay, so let's look at Black Lives Matter. There was an issue with police brutality, okay? This is where it came because there was a lot of police brutality going on. A lot of people who were melanated were being targeted and being murdered, right? Now, where did this come from? So firstly, we wanted to shed light on police brutality. What happened? Your focus was then diverted towards police brutality. Everybody became aware of police brutality. What happened with police brutality? Did it go? No. You put your focus on it. So what happened? There's more police brutality now. It became common. It became acceptable because our focus was placed upon it. Now that the system has gotten you into this, has gained your focus, because now they have a slogan, right? Black Lives Matter. Okay. Then you had Black Lives Matter, then you had All Lives Matter, then Blue Lives Matter, then whoever's lives matter. And now there is a massive amount of disunity within people based on their preconceptions. Some believe are just like, yeah, Black Lives Matter, and what does that mean? Well, cops' lives matters too, and well, everybody's life matters, you know? And the truth of the matter is that literally all life is equal. So, what the system has done is it's literally got you to now focus on it. You are now focusing on an issue that causes pain, suffering, servitude. Your focus is so deeply, heavily involved in this issue now, right? Now what is happening though? You are now being sucked into it. When you're into it, you are now constantly in a negative state. You are constantly looking at police brutality. Whether you agree with it or not, I hope you don't agree with it, but whether you agree with it or not, you are now feeding into it. You are feeding your energy into this issue. Every time you feed your energy into this issue, you feed the system. Because again, what it does is it heightens the focus, meaning more people are now looking at it, which means that you have more police brutality, which if you have more police brutality, you're going to have more of an opposition. You're going to have people who don't want that police brutality who are going to push back. And then what they're going to do is they're going to say, oh, well, you know what? They're pushing back, so we need to double our forces. We need to give more military control to combat this. So then that grows. And then they're like, well, we need more military control, so we're going to funnel more taxes into this. We're going to pay more money into this. So then they get more money, and then they pay into it. Now the people on the other end who are now taking the abuse and taking, or are the focus of the abuse, they now start to rile up there because they're like, no, we don't want to take this. So we're going to do rallies, we're going to do marches, we're going to do everything like that. But then there's more marches, there's more rallies. So what they do is they up their thing. They up their ante. Right? And it's a constant state of war that just grows and grows and grows. All the while, nothing gets solved. You've just been, that is the system. That is the system. Even that. When you watch TV, going on to another one, when you are watching TV, when you are watching things like the Kardashians, right? What are you being programmed to do? What are you being distracted by? Well, you're feeding into the celebrity. You're watching a show of nonsense. I'm sorry, it is a show of absolute and utter nonsense. You are literally watching ladies get beautified, walk around in a car eating food, talking about nothing but bullshit. But what do you do? Right? What do you do with that? You feed into it. So then we're buying makeup, we're buying clothing, we're buying anything that is attached to their name because we are programmed to believe that this is better, this is how we should be or whatnot. But then what you want is like completely ridiculously overpriced. So then two outcomes come out of this. You either give your energy away to that system by purchasing whatever bullshit that they're trying to put out there, or you don't buy it, but yet you still feel like crap because you don't have it. Right? So either way, it is a negative, and you need to continually feed your energy to it. Versus if you just stop focusing on it, it doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. You focus on the love. You focus on things that better yourself. And then you're out of the system. Sorry, I made that sound much easier than it is, I suppose. Cassie, I'm agreeing with you about being out of the system, just pointing out that this is how they trickle fear down us to continue keeping us trapped. Absolutely bloody right, Cassie. It is the fear of the consequence. It is the fear of if I don't comply, you are under duress. If I don't comply, what is going to happen? Nothing. Nothing. Put your focus on what makes you happy. Emma, journeys are different, but all have the same purpose. You are a light worker like me. I send out love and shine my light on my truth. Wonderful, Emma. Thank you so much. Oh, but please, I give you all that energy back to continue literally finding your truth and continue saying your truth and sharing this out. That's for sure. Kira, take only what you need from the system. Let go of the implied expectations. Kira, this is what I have to disagree with you on this one. Don't take anything from the system. Any little focus that you put onto it is going to take from you. The system is all pure negativity. It is all pure negative energy. It is only sustained with negative energy. That is the only way it can sustain itself. Right? If you are putting all of your positive energy, your physical energy, into the system, it never gives you anything back. So anything you are taking from it, you are taking only what you need from the system. And all that's going to happen is you're just going to lose. That's all. Abolish it. Truth cannot live in a lie. Right? This light, you cannot live properly and within freedom and still be taking from the system, because you are taking from a lie, you are taking from servitude. Again, you cannot be free and you cannot be a slave at the same time. You are either one or the other. Okay. Mary, yes, it's all fear. It is. Martin, I like onions. Oh, wonderful. I'm glad. Mike, cinnamon rolls are good too. Onions and cinnamon. Excellent. Mike, you need a permit to get a permit. That's true. Right, okay, let's have a look here. Martin, and the Rothschilds owning all the banks. Yes, of course. The Rothschilds, the JP Morgans, all of this, the 1%, they're all a bunch of jackasses. Mary, feed your energy, which makes the system stronger. Exactly. Emma, I'm a victim to the police. I'm a traveler. They are prejudiced. Ah, and I'm a MK Ultra mind control victim because of the military. TV only shows you what they want to show you to change the way humanity thinks. You're absolutely right. And oh, I'm sorry you have been a victim of the MK Ultra mind control. And then they all said that they're not victims, they're like volunteers. It's like, you assholes, they are totally there under duress. Nobody wants to actually freaking do that. So I am sorry that you had to go through that, my sweetheart. And you're absolutely right. You know, and you say you're a victim to the police, you're a traveler, and they are prejudiced. What I kind of say to that as well is that don't comply to them, which I'm sure you don't, right? I don't. And this is one of the reasons why I want everybody to raise energy and raise frequency, right? So that you could just avoid them like I do. Like you literally put their flow of energy. It's like, no, you're over there. Because when you're living in love and light and nothing but positivity, and you clear out all the negativity, the universe, the law of attraction, has nothing but love to give you. So if you don't have any hate or any fear or anything in your heart, then literally the only thing the universe can give you is love and positive experience, or what is in your heart, because it is a mirror. This is the point of the duality matrix. Kira, such an intriguing train of thought. Oh, wonderful. Charles, what about earned veterans benefits? Now, Charles, if you're talking about earned veterans benefits, if the government is giving you money and you're not having to, well, you've already bloody well paid your service to it, don't get me wrong, because you are a veteran, so you've earned that. However, if the government is giving you money, then take it. Like, personally, like, if the government wanted to give me money right now, I'm taking it, but I'm not complying. Don't expect me to renew anything. Don't expect me, like, if you just want to send me money, then fine. But I'm not going to comply in your system any longer for it. You know, like, I'm not going to renew my application. I'm not going to go into a service center for you to test me in order to get this. Like, screw that. Like, but that is your own prerogative, my dear. Sorry about that. Sorry. Beta, you say, who controls the system? Who is above the government? Ah, that is wonderful. Excellent question, Beta. Who controls the system? You. Who is above the government? You. You are in control of the system, but you just don't know it. Society is the one that feeds the system, but we just don't know about it. When you understand that it is you who has the control, and if you don't like the system, all you have to do is shift your focus and don't focus on it, it will literally die. It will go away. It won't be there anymore. Who's in control of the government? We are. We control it because we focus on it, because we allow the servitude of ourselves and others around us. We allow this servitude. So we are the ones in control, but we're just choosing to allow it to happen. Emma, I forgive all for me, not them. Wonderful. Mary, we keep enabling the system. We do. We definitely do. So, anywho, that is my 2-hour rant for today. So I'm going to leave you with this. If you found this video very useful, I implore you to share it, to literally share the information. Let's wake up a few more people, right? But not only that, but just remember, every single thing that you are doing that is in compliance is the system. Anything that you do that involves the system will always take from you. It will never give back to you. It is a beast that needs to be fed, and you are feeding it out of your own flesh. All right? It will never return back to you. Even if you believe it is not. If it is an institution, don't trust it. All right? If it is an institution, don't trust it. If it is an organization or for example, a corporation, don't trust it. All right? If it has government at the end of it, definitely don't trust it. If it has regulation at the end of it, don't trust it. Right? If it has anything to do with you asking permission or to be allowed to do this, that, or the other, don't do it. Don't do it. When you live in love and when you live in light, it is literally a byproduct of this lifestyle that you do not want to cause harm or hurt to anybody. If you are not causing harm or hurt to anybody, whether that be emotionally or physically, then do whatever the frick you want to do. Literally, that is it. If you are not harming another individual physically, or an animal, or another living thing, if you are not harming anything physically, you're fine. If you are not harming anything emotionally, you're fine. You know? And by the way, what I mean emotionally is like if you were to come up and steal my notepad, well, I wouldn't be that hurt, to be honest with you, but some people would. You know, but if you were to steal something from me that I worked very hard for, or that was dear to me, that would cause me emotional pain. So you don't want to do that. So that's what I mean by emotionally. But anyway, don't just you have a standard set of morals that comes with a raising of frequency, right? You have a need to do your purpose, to do good, and to literally fulfill your purpose. So if you're being asked to seek permission for anything in any way, just don't freaking comply to it. Don't comply. Take yourself out of the system and focus on the things that only make you happy, so that the universe has no choice but to make you happy. Alrighty, so Jen, I have not had a chance to start the new meditation. I'm sorry, I was doing so much of my own inner work over the last week, so I have not even done any of that, but it will be coming, I promise you. Kira, given that the system is absolutely everywhere, you must participate to some degree, whether we like it or not. Here's my thinking, giving the insight of awareness and understanding that life is balance of good and bad. Do you think it could be possible to approach use of the system with the attitude that if you must take negative energies, at least you can choose where you absorb these negative energies from? No. Kira, my sweetheart, that is something that is, you know, when Morpheus in the Matrix said that people will fight for the system because they are so dependent on it? That's basically what that is. You do not need it whatsoever. Any time you are giving your energy to the system, you are at a loss. You are completely at a loss. You will not get that energy back. It will only take from you. Okay? And I want you to try to think of your energy, Kira, and this is for everybody else watching. I want you to think of your energy as your life force. Okay? Because it is your life force. If I were to tell you that every single time you feed into the system, to the matrix, to this, if every single time you are feeding into this, your lifespan drops by a day. So every time you go out and vote, your lifespan is, you get 24 hours taken from you, because that's how much energy that takes from you. The participation, that's how much it costs, right? Would you still do it? Would you still think that it's worth it? Because at the end of a year, you could have given away a lot of days. So, well, no, you're no longer going to live until you're 105. You're now going to live until you're 104. Then 103, then 102, then 101. Now you're in the 90s. Well, no, you've decided to carry on with the system, so now you're in the 70s. Now you're in the 60s. Now you're in the 50s. To me, that is not... There is no compliance in the system. That is, or it's literally like if you had an abusive partner, right? How many slaps to the face, how many punches to how many punches to your head will be okay? You know, how many times can your partner kick you in the gut? But you know what? You get a roof over your head for it. Oh, there's still food on the table. All I have to do is get kicked in the gut every now and then, and it'll be okay, right? You would never recommend that for anybody else. And as I see it, as I see literally the participation in the government and the participation in the system, I see you guys being kicked in the gut all bloody day long. And so I'm just basically telling you, stop being kicked in the gut. Don't allow it. Don't comply with it. Okay. So, sorry to be a pain. I just really want to get onto it. Oh, yes, Jen. Oh, I'm sorry, my dear. Yeah, it is literally my own development that literally had to come into play, because I can't move unless I develop. I wouldn't be able to get a very good meditation out to you if I couldn't develop, my dear. So I will... You gotta bear with me, sweetie. Orke, I wouldn't vote if it took a day from my life. Well, just think. However many hours it takes you to vote, that's how much of your time has been taken from your life. Right? It is really sad, Mary. Kira, great food for thought. No, I'd be singing to the mountains. Wonderful. Well, thank you, and thank you ever so much as well, Onala. Right, well, thank you guys ever so much. Again, share this if you found it useful, if you found it interesting. I'm going to be coming up again this week with a lot of cool, interesting topics. We may be doing a couple live general Q&As and some good stuff. And but yeah, have a wonderful rest of your evening. Have a wonderful day. Bye, sweethearts.